Hey everybody, as promised, Metal Shop Steve back here with another album review. Kind of been saving these albums up. I wanted to wait till specifically these three albums had all come out before I started to make kind of a trio of videos. If you watched my first one already, or you know the first one's up, the first one we already talked about. This one is the new album from Jinjer. It's called Macro. Now, if you'll remember correctly, they put out some music in the form of a CD called Micro not that long ago. But Macro is now the full-length album, and that's what we're talking about today. Really, really new, just came out. Also, if you've watched the channel, you know that I'm a big Jinjer fan. I actually did a review of Cloud Factory a little while back. Not one of their newer albums, but one of the albums that I just really, really love. Probably my favorite Jinjer album. But this one, Macro, let's talk about it. As per my formula, I will go down track by track and tell you what I think about it. I'll give you my favorite tracks. A little bit about the band, in case you're unfamiliar. Taddy, the singer, she has kind of a dynamic voice. And similar to other bands that kind of do this style, she does the growls, she does the screams, and then she can sing. What makes this band a little bit different is Taddy's voice is just, there's just another level to it. There's another dimension to it. She does things anyway that a lot of the other bands don't, where they switch from growls to singing. She does that, but she just has kind of these layers to her voice that I think make her stand out and make the band stand out a little bit. Nice vocal range. She can do some unique things with her voice too. So let's talk about the songs here. Let's go down track by track the list. The opening song on the top, that is just a well-crafted song, and it's kind of a nice reacquainting with the band if you've been dying for new music from them. On the top, it's got some tempo changes. It features the different growling and the screaming and the singing and kind of everything that makes Jinjer great. Really well-crafted song, I'll say, to start out. Followed that up by Pit of Consciousness. That's just a great rocker. Not a lot to say about that. Third track on here, Judgement and Punishment. This one's unique because as Jinjer has done from time to time, they throw in a little bit of a curveball here and there. This one almost has a little bit of a reggae ska feel here and there. They pull back the distortion, they just play some guitar, and Taddy sings with this kind of reggae vibe. And then of course they mix in the rock during the choruses and kind of balance it out there too. But I think this is a nice, really complete song too. That's followed up by a song called Retrospection. I like this one a lot because of just a really meaty, tough guitar riff in there. Every once in a while, that's just what you need, and that's what this song comes through with. And again, not talking a lot about certain songs doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just, there's a consistency there. Maybe the song doesn't stand out to me as one of my favorites, but certainly very consistent album here as well. Number 5 on here, Pausing Death. And it's funny, it's not funny, it's interesting that one of the things that makes this song unique is there is a little bit of a pause. They pause kind of toward the end of the song for a little bit of a softer kind of bridge to the song a little bit. So Pausing Death pauses the kind of in-your-face sound of the song, and then they bring it back around to close out the song. So another really nice one on this album. That's followed up by a song called Noah. Again, Noah is just a rocker, and it's what the band does best. I think it's the screaming, it's the singing, it's the rock, it's all there. Number 7, Home Back. And I told you I like riffs, and this one I have a note here on my paper, Riff-tastic. This is my favorite guitar sound on the whole album, my favorite riff. It's another one that I feel like is a pretty complete song. It's well-rounded. It's got some tempo change, some character to it, some nuance. There's a nice breakdown in the middle where it gets a little mellow, and then they bring it back. It's just, I think Jinjer does a nice job at really crafting their songs, knowing when to hold it back a little bit, knowing when to bring it back out with full force. So, great job there by Jinjer. I like what they do there. Number 8, The Prophecy, again, another rocker. And then they finished this album with a song, and the title is actually written backwards, but if you read it forwards, it says Perennial. This one is it's unlike anything else on the album. It's moody. It starts with this kind of low, dark piano. From there, it kind of transitions into a little bit of almost quiet industrial sound. And then Taddy comes in with the almost whispered vocals here. It's a very slow build. It's very understated the whole way through, I think. But then toward the end, you get where it starts to build a little bit, and then it finishes off, of course, with a little bit of guitar. So that's the album. 9 songs in total, macro. The only other thing I can say here, and I hate to even make any kind of a critique because I love Jinjer and I love what they do, but if I can make one critique on this album, disagree with me if you feel like it. For me, the drums in some of the songs are a little distracting. Musically, I think these guys and Taddy, they're just right on the whole way through. But every once in a while, they get in that really fast kind of death metal type of drum where it's just like machine gun brrr type of stuff. And I find it distracting. It doesn't seem to go with the song. I don't feel like it adds anything to the song. That's in a couple of the songs that really I was kind of listening and I thought, But again, that doesn't take away from the rest of the album. I think the album is fantastic. I think you should listen to it. I think you should check it out. Again, if you like Jinjer, you're going to love this album. You've probably been waiting for it for a while, and you're not going to be disappointed. My favorite songs on here, on the top. I think for me, it's kind of a theme. My favorite songs here are the most well-rounded, well-crafted type of songs. On the top to start out. I also Home Back. You probably guessed since I said Riff-tastic. I love that one. That's one of my favorites. And then the one that has that little bit of a reggae vibe, Judgment and Punishment. I like that too, just because of the fact that they're willing to go out a little bit, just away from normal sound to give you a song that is just a little bit unique. So those are my top 3. Again, great album, Macro by Jinjer. Check it out. And I do have one more album review coming up here shortly, so keep a lookout for that one as well. Thanks for coming by.